have gained popularity and assist project managers to estimate schedules and costs. Information radiators, Six Sigma methods, MAPA, Pagan Eye, some other things that you would have come across. They're only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to analytics. Our guest speaker of today is Mr. Venkadesh Narayanan. Mr. Venkadesh is the Principal Consultant of Physics Business Consultants Private Limited and President of PDMA India. It's an affiliate of PDMA USA. He is a mechanical engineer and an MBA with over 20 years of experience in consulting, business analytics, new product development, and process improvement. Mr. Venkadesh is a former member of Indian Civil Services, IRAS 2000 batch, and served at Indian Railways. He's also worked in Larsen Tubro, Siemens, Europro LLC, and Latix International prior to joining physics. He is also a member of several professional bodies and holds numerous certifications. I was mind boggled today when I looked at the amount of certifications he actually holds. To name a few: Certified Business Analyst Professional, PMI Professional in Business Analysis, Six Sigma, New Product Development Professional, and the list goes on. So without further ado, it is our pleasure to invite Mr. Venkadesh to the stage.
So, good morning, all of you. It's like seeing a nice gathering on a Saturday morning. It's really it's a good work put behind this whole program. So, like our topic is analytics for project managers. The thing is, like I don't stick much to the presentation, but rather I do prefer the working on the board. It's like let us make it a little bit interesting. So the three things like we want to discuss today. One is the changing landscape of project managers or the project management itself, the changing landscape. Then how to transform ourselves, that is like as a project manager, how to transform ourselves to the future needs. Then third one, we will discuss about a small case study that is like one of the projects we have done for a kind of like a textile company. So these are all the three things we are going to discuss. One is the changing landscape of project managers or the project management role itself. Then how to transform ourselves to be a kind of like more fit into the future. And the third one is a mini case study about business analytics. So the thing is like before getting into these 3 points, I would like to discuss like there is so much of confusions around the business analysis, business analytics. Then we call it big data and several tools. So the first thing is, if we teach Photoshop to Leonardo da Vinci, did he came out with, or is it possible for him to come out with Mona Lisa? No. Okay. So the thing is like it's a reverse. See, if you teach me Photoshop and you make me an expert in Photoshop, can I come out with a nice drawing? So this is the kind of like the skill set. Here we are talking about two skill sets. There is a great deal of confusion around this in the market. The thing is, when we talk about Hadoop or SAS or IBM SPSS or advanced Excel, okay, all these things are tools. Unless I have analytical bent of mind, these tools are kind of like of no use. And today the market hype is around these tools. The thing is like whichever the program what we are seeing in the market, these things are talking about these tools very well, but it is not teaching about the analytical part itself. So the thing is like what we are trying to differentiate is business analytics has two parts. One side, it's a kind of like the business analytics bent of mind, that how to form a business case for business analytics, right? We will discuss in great deal with our case study. That is the third point. And the another one is we need tools. We have so many people in the market even today with the tools, but we don't have people with business analytics bent of mind, right? So this is between the difference between the tools and the knowledge base. That is a domain knowledge. And the second thing is business analysis and business analytics is kind of like literally confused. Business analysis is about recommending a solution to the organization. This is coming from an organization called International Institute of Business Analysis, located in Canada, and they have business analysis certification. So basically, like business analysis is each organization has need, problem, and opportunities, and they continuously have this. Okay, they have several needs, several problems, and opportunities, and these need to be kind of like well understood, well defined, and to satisfy the need, solve the problem, to capitalize the opportunity, we need to come out with solutions. So solution is the prescription to the problem, right? So that is the role of a business analyst, okay, or business analysis. When we talk about business analysis, we are referring to someone working in your organization. You can call him as an internal consultant or whatever. The thing is, like, this person is coming out with a recommendation to solve the problem. Okay, so that is the business analysis part. Now coming to business analytics. When we say business analytics, we are referring to the data that is gathered by the organization or the data procured by the organization, which is processed to come out with the data-driven decisions, right? So when we say business analysis, it's a kind of like business analysis and the business analytics, they go hand in hand. That is like the business analytics, it supports business analysis and vice versa. It is like it's like a package. It is kind of like we cannot separate them. So business analytics is making data-driven decisions, and the business analysis is a kind of like a larger picture, right? So now, when we say that, like, the first thing is the changing landscape of, now we are getting into the topic. So we know very clearly business analysis, business analytics, two different things. We are focusing on business analytics, right? Because like sometimes, like when I speak to people, like they're literally confused. They think business analytics and talk about business analysis and vice versa. So now we have a very clear thing, that is like what is business analysis, business analytics, two different things. And the other one is even within business analytics. Now we are seeing like two things. One is the domain knowledge about business analytics. The second thing is tool. Tool is an enabler. If I don't have this first part, this tool is literally useless with me, right? I may be kind of like expert in SaaS or IBM SPSS, but kind of like what am I going to do with that, right? It's a kind of like you are giving me a good Photoshop training and asking me to come out with a nice picture. Unless I have that artistic skill or within me, it is not possible to come out with a nice diagram. So the first thing is we'll kind of like review the changing landscape of project management. See, each organization has kind of like these two set of people, operations people and development people, right? We are dividing this entire organization into two groups. It is like one is operations, another one is development. Okay. The role of these operations people is to keep delivering the products and services continuously to make money for the organization, right? That is operations. The operations people, what they do is they do the same thing again and again, and they come out with the kind of like they deliver the products and services to the market. Basically, operations is like they carry out the mission of the organization. Okay, they carry out the mission of the organization. That is like on an ongoing basis, they produce these things and they make revenue for the company. On the other side, developmental people, these are all the set of people who are helping the organization to take their operations to the next level, right? It's a kind of like this kind of like there is a great emphasis on this developmental people within organization today. So, like, how do we differentiate this operations and development people? Operations people are kind of like they're doing the mundane activities. An accountant is coming to office and putting entries in journal, ledger, and other things, and he does the same thing again and again. He doesn't change, right? and that is the operations people, or somebody kind of like carrying out operations within the organization, operations people, and they are very much required. A large percentage of the organization is composed of operations people, say 90-95%. On the other hand, we are also talking about developmental people, and these people are responsible for taking the operations to the next level, that is making the organization future ready, right? So now, why these developmental people kind of like having a greater importance, and what is the relevance today? See, project managers are developmental people. Project managers, they don't do the operations. Strictly defining project, like operations are ongoing, projects are time bound, right? That is the way we studied, right? Operations are ongoing, it never ceases. If operation ceases means the company is closed, right? So operation doesn't cease. Okay, operations may undergo changes, that is different, but operations doesn't cease. But on the other hand, we are talking about these developmental people, that is like the project. When we say project, it has a definitive start and end. Okay, but we came across projects which never ended. Okay, that's another reason. Okay, but the thing is, like, the project means we are very clearly defining that a project has definitive start and end. And why do we do the projects? Okay, fundamentally we need to ask the question, like, why do we do the projects? We do the projects to add capability to the organization, right? If something is there within the organization, we don't do the projects. Kind of like a project is something like, I would say it's a kind of like a change introduction within the organization, or we are adding capability to the organization. So basically, like, how do we define the organization? We define the organization, like, if you go back to Peter Drucker or several other management gurus, it's a kind of like, it was defined like a group of people working towards a common goal. Okay, this is a kind of like maybe like 50-60 years back. But today, the kind of like, there is a change happening in this, like, with more and more service industries. We want to kind of like define this a little bit different. That is kind of like the recent authors come out with. Organization is group of capabilities. That's it. Organization is group of capabilities tied together like an orchestra, right? The orchestra should produce music, not noise, right? So it's a group of people or group of capabilities that is kind of like delivering the kind of like certain capabilities to the organization. So what are these capabilities we are talking about? These capabilities are people, process, and the systems. I may be talking three things, okay, and this is one of them. So the thing is, like, when we say people, process, and systems. So any organization is a group of capabilities coming out of people, process, and systems. The system could be, you can call it as an infrastructure or a high-tech machinery, anything. Okay. So when these capabilities are binded together or seamlessly integrated, we create an organization. And this organization, what organization do? They also deliver capabilities. When somebody is buying a product from me, actually he is not buying a product, he is buying a capabilities. So capabilities generate capabilities, right? Our products or service, we have to see like capabilities. A service is a capability. Like if I'm going to like, this is a Saturday morning, right? I'm going to a spa for a haircut, okay? And the thing is like there, it is again people, process, and the systems, and they have the capability, and they delivered a capability to me, okay? Maybe a tangible or intangible, okay? So the thing is, when we say organization, it is group of capabilities tied together like an orchestra. They all play for a single note, right? Maybe like different capabilities, but they play for a single note, and they deliver capabilities, which is music, right? So now, the changing landscape of project management. You see, project management was relatively stable during the past, but it is not going to be the same way stable in future. The reason is all industries are going on disruptions. There are disruptive forces acting on the organization. It's a kind of like, when I say disruption in the industry, it's a kind of like, for example, in another 10 years, we may not be seeing kind of like cars with the drivers. So what will happen to these drivers? And another profession, like a few days back, where I was discussing in one other company, they had 100 technical writers, some 10 years back. Today they have only 2 technical writers. Okay, so what happened to this technical writing profession? So today, today, the predominant view is, if I am coming out with this thick manual for a software, probably I have written a crappy software. Do you agree? Right? If I came out with this thick, okay, this thick kind of like manual, because nobody reads manual. Okay, it's a kind of like, it is given as part of this. Even like iPhone has a manual, but it lives only in online. Only I came to know like very recently that it has a manual. When I was arguing with one of the person, like, is Apple giving a manual? And he said like, yes, they are giving the manual, but nobody knows. Okay. Okay. So nobody knows. It is available in online. Okay. But nobody refers it. And the thing is like how this product is designed, like a 8-year-old kid should kind of like operate it. That's what we hear, right? And probably like it is not like 8-year, kind of like now I'm seeing like 2-3-year-old kids. They do everything in mobiles, kind of like more than what we do. Okay. So it's a kind of like these are all the professions. You see, when we are in a career, we need to also see how this career is going ahead. Okay, how this career is going ahead. For example, somebody is a technical writer, they have to be pretty much careful. Okay, because like it is going to take a different turn. Okay, because this profession itself is getting changed. Okay, so what other skill sets I need to add? So the same way, being in project management profession, we need to kind of like think about kind of like how this project management role is going to shape up in the coming years. Okay, and already we started getting some feelers in the industry, right? It's a kind of like it's the right time to think like how to evolve ourselves in this project management domain. So when we say this changing landscape, okay, I'm just reiterating the point again and again, the changing landscape. So the kind of like the disruption is kind of like happening in all industries. So what do we talk about this disruption? What is this disruption we are talking about? Like take 2 companies. One is selling salt. Another one is selling kind of like manufacturing mobile phones. One is manufacturing salt, and another one is manufacturing kind of like mobile phones. Who is highly disruptive? Like where disruption is more? Of course, on the mobile side, right? The thing is like we very well know, at least for the next 100 years, salt will be a salt. Okay, at least today we know like we don't have any threat, okay, for the salt industry. But on the other hand, the mobile industry, every 6 months, the kind of like everybody's product is getting obsolete, kind of like it is getting a new additions. So these industries, there are some industries where it is a kind of like highly stable, the disruption is very less, but there are some other industries where the disruption is very high. And wherever I have disruption, you need more and more developmental people. That means more and more project managers are required. Okay. The thing is like project manager is a developmental people. The reason is why I'm saying developmental people. The reason is they are adding capabilities. Addition of capability is taking the operations to the next level. Right? Why do we add capabilities to the organization? Because we want to take the operations to the next level. Okay, it is an improvement within the organization. So when we say disruption, the disruption is coming from various forces. One is change in consumer preferences. The consumers are changing. So that results in disruption. Second one, technological advances. So many technologies which were not available in the past, it's available today, and that results in disruption. And the third one is evolving business models. And if we take like very much take the situation in Chennai, some 5 years back, the fast track, you might have seen like 10,000 taxis playing in Chennai. It's a large taxi company. And the thing is like suddenly somebody came out with a kind of like a new advertisement with NTL, okay, and fast track became half, and then Ola was introduced, and both the NTL and fast track we don't see in the market. Okay, the thing is like we see this call taxis very rarely. And what is this? This is the industry disruption. Okay, it is like in case of Ola, it is like they have a different business model and different customer service, different level of customer service and use of technology. They have used all the three things. That is the reason I'm telling this example. So Ola has used all the three things. So it's a kind of like it is a combination of everything. So it's a kind of like in any business we have to be kind of like with our eyes open that is my industry is undergoing any disruption. And if the industry is undergoing disruption, I am part of this industry, I will also be subject to disruption. It is not like the industry alone is going. If I am part of that industry, my profession is also going for a disruption. And that's what kind of like when we say the car taxis, they are undergoing disruptions, or taxis or cars undergoing a disruption. That is, we will see the driverless cars in coming months and years, right? So not months, years. Okay, but already it is a proven thing, right? Does anybody has a question like, is this becomes a reality, driverless cars? Okay, maybe like 5 years back we will ask this question. Okay, but today, kind of like companies have already tested it out, and they claim that it is pretty much safer than having a driver. Okay, so it's a kind of like already it is proved, and it is going to happen. Say like 10 years or 15 years, and when that industry is going for a disruption, the drivers who are one of the stakeholders or a key stakeholder, their profession is also undergoing a disruption. So if I'm thinking that the industry is undergoing a disruption, I will be safer. No. If the industry is undergoing disruption, the thing is like the kind of like the profession is also undergoing disruption. So now this is the changing landscape. Okay, and here when we say the project management, we have kind of like the two challenges that is currently happening. One is kind of like the market saturation. Okay, today most of the project managers are in IT and ITVS. Okay, and the thing is like this industry is undergoing disruption. One is in the form of market saturation. It is like when you come out with a new television in a country where they have never seen televisions, television will sell like a hot cake. That's what happened like a few years back when we are selling kind of like when we are when software companies are offering softwares. But there is a market saturation is happening. That is one reason. Another one is between Indian market and the Western world, we are losing that cost arbitrage advantage. The cost arbitrage. Like if you take like 15 years back, there was a huge difference between say US market and Indian market. And US market is having a pretty stable inflation. That is like they claim like 0.2%, 0.25%. But on the other hand, within India, we have around 10%. 10% year over inflation. So what happened? Like this eroded this cost arbitrage. Right? Who is responsible for that? We cannot say easily. Okay. But this is a fact, right? This is a fact. Like today, where do we stand? This cost arbitrage is eroded. So when the cost arbitrage is eroded, kind of like there is no difference between the professionals on either side of the world, right? So these two challenges are kind of like really in front of us as project managers. So this is the changing landscape, and disruption is happening. That is the third one. Disruption is happening. So it's a kind of like constantly organization kind of like they find out kind of like new ways of doing things, and when they kind of like adopt new ways of doing things, for example, whatever the marketing worked like 2 years back, it no longer works in companies. They kind of like they have to hop on different marketing things. So these are all the factors that are kind of like the changing landscape of project management. Now the next thing, the next topic what we have is the next point, that is like first the changing landscape of project management. The second one is how do we kind of like how do we shape ourselves, that is shaping ourselves with the new capabilities. That is like how as a project manager, how do we add new capabilities? Number one, the thing is like what is the coming trends? There is a greater focus on automation, greater focus on business analytics, and greater focus on business analysis. Okay. The thing is like these three things are kind of like it's a kind of like several organization coming out with their kind of like research, like how the world looks like in 2025. If you go through some online articles, how the world looks like in 2025, you hear these four terms. That is IoT, Internet of Things, business analysis, business analytics, and we have this machine learning, digitalization, artificial intelligence, okay, automation, okay, everything is like, see, digitalization is a very loosely used word, right? It's a kind of like, are we new to digitalization? No, we were already doing that, but we have started using this name recently, okay? So all the four things are kind of like seen as something that will shape up this kind of like industries in 2025 and beyond. So now our focus is on business analytics. Okay. So now actually I'm getting into the topic. Okay. So when we say business analytics, it is like we said we have these two parts. One is the business analytics bent of mind. Second one is the tool. Which one comes first? It is the business analytics bent of mind. Because even with this tool, I may not be able to use, or I will not be able to kind of like help the organization. But with this bent of mind, it is much possible. So when we say the analytics bent of mind, what do we mean by that? It's a kind of like few days back we had a discussion with the CEO of the company. It's a very large distribution company, and we had a discussion. And the thing is like his boss told him that we need to use business analytics. And the thing is like as like when boss says like we kind of like we have to say yes, right? So the thing is like he said this, and he called us, kind of like what we are going to do with kind of like business analytics. We had a discussion, and like what is the purpose you want to use business analytics? And he is clueless. Okay, so basically the problem here is, the thing is like they don't know what do they want to do with business analytics. This is the case with many companies. Many companies, like whether we worked with them or kind of like we discussed with them, in many cases what we hear is they want to kind of like jump into business analytics, but they don't know what they want to do. Okay. In another case, we visited a home furnishing textile company, kind of like a fully export oriented company, and the kind of like the second generation of owners, kind of like they were educated in US and other countries, and they kind of like they want to kind of like we want to use business analytics, kind of like we want to capture the data in all the lines of production and everything within the organization. We want to capture the data. So what is the business case you have in front of like for business analytics? The thing is like it is clueless. So that is the way it is happening in many companies today. And even the market, what we are finding is companies are selling the business analytics softwares and trainings. It is just like the software part. It is like teaching Photoshop to everybody, irrespective of whether he has artistic skill or not. Okay, it is literally selling the Photoshop or Photoshop training. Okay, it is Photoshop is the product and Photoshop training is the service, right? They are selling this product and service left and right to the market, okay, hoping that it will make them as a very good data scientist or business analytics professionals. But it is not happening. The thing is like people are really disappointed, like especially like when kind of like 2-3 years kind of like experienced graduates, when they do business analytics, what happens afterwards? It's a big question mark. So the first thing is understanding the nature of business analytics itself. So let us take a small case study which we have done for a leading textile company recently. Like I will talk about, like I will discuss 2 case studies and we will have a discussion around that. Even like I want to make it like very interactive after giving this overview, that how kind of like what kind of business analytics you can have in your organization. So there should be a case for business analytics. If there is no business case for business analytics, it is waste of money and time. Maybe like we will be confusing more people. Okay, so what is the business case here? So like this is a company, this is a textile company, textile, and they run their showrooms across India. They called us like 3 years back, and they told us like we want to implement a loyalty program for their customers. They want to implement a loyalty program for their customers. Like you see, like these days we find the loyalty cards, right? And the thing is like we kind of like thought out and what is the data that need to be captured. It was pretty clear, and we captured like so they said like for each card we will capture a kind of like the first name, last name, the date of birth, okay, and kind of like the phone number, email, okay, and one anniversary date and one birth date, okay. So the thing is like birthday definitely one, okay. So the thing is like it's a kind of like this is the data they want to capture. This is the data they want to capture, and kind of like what they want to do with this is it's a kind of like just wishing the people, okay, at the appropriate time. That is like okay, it's a happy birthday. You get the message at the morning. Like most of you might be getting from various stores. This is something very new, like 3-4 years back. But today, like you get birthday wishes more from more from these companies rather than from our friends. Okay, so this is the way they started, and for 4 years they were collecting this data, and now kind of like 6 months back they called us like again here we found a second generation owners. The first generation owner, he came from Tirunelveli, like he doesn't have any education, but he is a very kind of like he has the business acumen. Okay, business acumen, that is the skills in doing business, and he started this empire. And the thing is like now the second generation, it is like kind of like they are MBAs, and he said like we are collecting this data like for years and years. Kind of like what is the purpose of this? It's a kind of like we are spending some good money, like so kind of like we are wishing people, okay, everything is fine, there is a tangible value, but what we are going to do with this? Okay, then the thing is like they gave the kind of like entire data, because like you see this is the data what they had for the loyalty program, that is what points accrued, everything, but behind that they have a ERP system, okay, and this ERP is capturing so much of data. And we ask them like whenever people ask us, like we ask them like what is the business case, what do you want to do with it, because that's what we want, like that is a starting point for any business analytics project. And when we ask them like what is that kind of like business case you have, what you want to do with this data, and he said like it is your job, you have to find out and tell us. Okay, that's what we have called you. It's a kind of like I don't know what I want to do with my data, okay, but we have kind of like, but I have a feeling that we can do something with this data. And the thing is like we got access to their data. They kind of like downloaded everything from Excel, sorry, the SQL, and they gave like a lot of files. So now a couple of our team members were going through this, and like initially like they said like some initial recommendations, like they are very kind of like very low level. It's kind of like it's a tier 1 decisions. That is like kind of like informing the people like 10 days before, offering a discount coupon, okay, before their anniversary. So all those things, it doesn't sound, this is not a business analytics project, okay. Business analytics should kind of like stand a little bit high. And finally we came out with a business case, and the business case is after due analysis of this like 4 years worth of data, what we found is like there is a buying pattern with people, right? We have something called the behavioral economics, okay, behavioral economics. The behavioral economics, it talks about several things. For example, when you enter a supermarket, okay, they give you a small basket to you. The reason, like we think that this guy is so nice, he is helping me, but there is something behind this. If you go empty-handed, your carrying capacity is limited, okay, but if you are given a basket, you will buy more, okay. If you are walking into a large store, your carrying capacity is limited with kind of like your 2 arms, that's it, okay, and this will limit your carrying capacity, so they give you a basket. And the thing is like people kind of like voluntarily come with bags in a textile showroom, like the kind of like the cloth bags. The reason is like it is behavioral economics, and this is like this is done in one of our recent projects. kind of like we work in the movie side also. For example, if you might have watched Thani Urvan, kind of like we consulted for Thani Urvan movie. Okay, and that is the first movie. Like anything used within this kind of like data and the logics that is coming from physics. And the same way, like we have completed some 3 other movies, especially the one movie. I'm not promoting the movie, okay? So the thing is like there is a upcoming movie, Velekaran, that has behavioral economics in and out. It is purely behavioral economics and business analytics used like in several parts. You see, like it's a kind of like you have to make it entertaining also. So it is bent. The rules are bent little bit here and there, but you can find the element of behavioral economics and business analytics. So now coming back to this, like this is the behavioral economics. So like now the thing is like rather than simply seeing kind of like, see, this is a necessity. Without simply seeing the data part, that how we can come out with how we can come out with a business case, you have to kind of like study the domain itself. What is so kind of like so special about this domain? Okay, and here behavioral economics is something new. This is kind of like any retail store. Behavioral economics is very important. And in that perspective, so now we are, business analytics is one domain, retail is another domain, behavioral economics is another domain. So when we kind of like add several related domains, actually we make a better business case, right? It is like adding another kind of like set of knowledges. So now the thing is like with this perspective, we started analyzing and we found a pattern within this data. That pattern is, there are some people, they randomly visit their store. They randomly visit their store. That is like kind of like there is no seasonal. I think it is fine. Okay. The thing is like there is a seasonal. There is no seasonal pattern. Season means it should be something with festivities, something with climate. Okay, that's what we call it season, right? So there is no seasonal pattern, but there is some sort of randomness in their visit to the store. Randomness. And we also found that these random people, a segment of them, not everybody, a segment of them, whenever they walk into the store, they buy for 25,000 rupees. Right? So these are all random people, and whenever they walk into the store, they buy for 25,000 rupees. And the thing is like one of my colleagues was making a joke that this guy is walking in the corridors of the store, you accidentally push him into the store, he will buy for 25,000. It's an exaggeration. Okay. So this is a behavior. This is buying behavior, right? The thing is like now we found like something like 20,000 plus people with this pattern. This 20,000 people are very important. The thing is like they have some buying behavior. Kind of like you can ask like, is it good or bad for the economy, good or bad for the consumerism? Okay, it is debatable, but I am talking only from the business analytics point of view. So now the thing is like these people, this 20,000 plus people, whenever they walk into the store, they will eventually buy for 25,000 rupees. And after getting this data, like we want to check with the management of this company, we asked them, kind of like, what is your profit margin? And the head of the business, he said like, it's like really like we are kind of like maybe like 10%, 20%, something he was saying. Because he don't know like what we are trying to kind of like, we are going to discuss about. And after some time, like the thing is like after good persuasion, okay, he's a old generation, so he don't want to reveal anything. And after some discussion, like we kind of like make a decent margin about 30%. It's the kind of like people hold financial data like in any company, unless you trust you very well, they don't reveal this. But the thing is like kind of like the next generation, okay, he came like we make easily 50 to 60%. He kind of like plastered, okay. And the thing is like he said like if he's saying like then it must be correct. He said that's it. So it is a kind of like 50 to 60% margin is there. This is a kind of like a retail store, a specialized thing. Because they are kind of like having their kind of like, it is not their retail alone, it is a kind of like end to end. They produce, They source some of the things and they manufacture and they do all these things. So now it is a 60% margin. Okay. So now the thing is like we asked them like, okay, even 50%, when somebody is buying for 25,000, your profit margin is 12,500. Okay. And this 12,500 into 20,000, if we pull somebody into the store, this 20,000 people, if we invite them into the store, this is a kind of like 20,000 into 12.5. It is almost like 5 crores business, right? So that is the business case, right? And how to pull them? Maybe like you have to share some of your profit with them, right? By giving a kind of like on your lean season, you kind of like entice them for saying like by sending a 2,500 gift coupon. The thing is like you may think like he will buy only for this 2,500 and he will walk away from the store. Okay, even then you are rewarding somebody who is loyal to you. Okay, it is not like you are not throwing this to everyone, right? Sending 2,500 gift coupon to all the people of your store is not a wise decision. But sending this 2,500 gift coupon to people who are kind of like loyal to you, that is like they have made certain kind of like amount of sales for your organization. So send this to them, and you are making them to invite. And the thing is like out of 12,500, say like 2,500 is removed, then now 10,000 is there. So there is a business case. Okay. Now we have to do the scenario analysis here. The scenario analysis is, what is the volume if all the 100% turns out, it doesn't happen, 80%, 60%, 40%, even 20%. 20% is 1 crore. So the thing is like even if it is 10%, it's a good money. Okay. So the thing is like when we say business analytics, the tool takes a back seat. The tool takes a back seat, but the business case has to be upfront. Okay. This is the first thing. Then you select the tool. For tool, you will get empty number of people. Okay. But what is the business case? What you want to analyze? That should be the focus of business analytics. Okay. This is one case. And take another case. This is for a leading hotel. And 3 years back, we had a kind of like a situation in Chennai, like the market is relatively slum, especially in the hospitality industry. The market is slum, and kind of like the sales were not good in hotels. And typically any 5-star hotel, the thing is like they want to just run, it's a kind of like the monthly budget is 2 crores. Okay. And they have a sales team. Okay. And the sales team kind of like the sales team sits in the hotel. Okay. And once in a while they visit the companies outside or potential clients. Typically this is like a walk-in conversions. Okay. People walk into the hotel or this 5-star hotel, and the thing is like they present the facilities and other things to them, and then it's a kind of like they convert them. But the thing is like they are finding it like very tough to get this conversions. It's a kind of like the sales was gradually declining. Now they want to kind of like understand. They kind of like invited us like why this is declining. It is a market trend. That is the market. How the market is performing. The situation is pretty common across kind of like various hotels within Chennai city, and they want to explore something else. And here, like after several rounds of discussion, we came out with a business case. It is a kind of like, you see, they have the domain knowledge. We don't have the domain knowledge. Kind of like they have the domain knowledge. And after having a serious discussions, we came out with a business case. The business case is kind of like each hotel has something called zone of influence. Zone of influence. That means a hotel attracts people from a particular locality. That is called zone of influence. You can draw a 5-kilometer radius around the hotel, a circle, 5-kilometer radius or 10-kilometer radius, depends on how unique you are, right? The uniqueness will increase the radius. So this is called the zone of influence. So we identified what is their zone of influence based on their past data. Okay, that is their zone of influence. And then the thing is like we come out with a different strategy. It's a kind of like this hotel has like people walk in and they ask them kind of like I want to book a hall or book a kind of like a function or any event that is being conducted in the hotel. But now the thing is like we analyzed the kind of like organization and institutions within the zone of influence, and we found out there is some 7,000 companies are there, 7,000 companies. And these 7,000 companies, they have their annual event, AGM. Whether you like it or not, you have to conduct. Okay, AGM not everybody likes, right? Companies. Okay, it's a hot area, depends on where the company is. It's a kind of like AGM event. Some companies have Founders Day. Some companies kind of like celebrate a particular festival year over year. So you need to find out their kind of like commonality. And this is literally done through kind of like the big data. That is kind of like the data from kind of like internet and other sources. They are just dumped into this, and kind of like we found out this pattern. Founders Day, AGM, and it kind of like it created a huge list of events that is happening in this area. So now through this, what we are recommending to them is, the thing is like, rather than they come to your hotel 3 months before, you knock their door and invite this kind of like PR or the HR person. Typically like PR or HR, they do this events for companies. PR person or the HR manager. It is a very stressful for them. It is like a marriage, running a marriage. After completing a marriage, can you say like all the 100% visitors are very satisfied, happy? Very rarely. Okay, it must be an ideal situation we aim for. But the thing is like it kind of like it shows like something like 20. Okay, some 20% is not satisfied with the event, or at least they kind of like not happy with the food, something. So it is a very stressful kind of like event or moment for these people. Okay, for the HR or the PR person, and you are knocking their doors 3 months in advance, and you are inviting this HR or PR for a walkover within your facility, and they kind of like offer some sort of like dinner with their family, and the entire family is explained the whole facilities, and they are offered a nice dinner. Okay, there is a kind of like ethical dilemma is there, but okay, but it's kind of like, okay, let us focus on business analytics. So the kind of like they offer a kind of like good dinner for the entire family of the HR or the PR, and the thing is like he is made comfortable for this restaurant or the hotel. Like we have something called anxiety, right? This is called like whenever you go to a new place, which you never visited, we have some kind of like the visitor's anxiety. The visitor's anxiety is kind of like, it may be a much safer place than Chennai, but still we worry. Still our kind of like relatives worry. Okay, for a new place. What is that reason? Because we are not aware of that place. That is called visitor's anxiety. And this visitor's anxiety has to be reduced to make the person come into your place. And now for this particular HR, that visitor anxiety, that is, he feel like this is comfortable. Even in presentations, people say, like if you have public speaking fear, the best thing is where you are speaking, kind of like in which location you are speaking, visit that place, see a look around the hall, so that kind of like you are much comfortable while you are delivering the speech. Right? This is what we heard like several times from kind of like leaders in speaking. So the same way, like this is the visitor's anxiety. And this visitor's anxiety, like that means like this HR should feel comfortable in this hotel atmosphere. And that comfort is given. The program is like after 3 months. And they came out with their kind of like a event management team within the hotel itself. That kind of like you sign up with us, you also enjoy the party rather than you struggle in the party. Okay. Many a time we see like the thing is like in marriages it happens, right? The thing is like whoever conducts the marriage, especially the kind of like the boy and girl's family, they never had a good lunch or dinner, right? They will be last to go to the thing, and they don't enjoy the day. Kind of like they are busy with the entire event. So now the thing is like they say like why you are kind of like struggling with this. Like as part of this package, we are also giving this event management team. They will manage everything. So here you see business analytics doesn't stand alone. That's what we want to kind of like understand. Business analytics doesn't stand alone. We need to find the case for business analytics. Okay. Here the business analytics is kind of like it's a kind of like somebody who is using Hadoop. Okay, he is well trained, and we gave this entire data, and we asked him like just to give me kind of like what is the occurrences of this AGM meeting and the associated companies. Okay, from which paragraph you found this? We asked all these things, but it took a little bit of time until we understand what is Hadoop. Okay, it's a kind of like we need to develop some understanding, but that is a kind of like second step. First thing is we need to be able to precisely tell what we want out of this exercise. So here, when we say for your organization, like they have a problem. Okay, in an organization they have a problem. Now I'm going to one of the slides because several things I'm discussing. So this is called strategy analysis. Okay, how to link business analytics with the strategy analysis. Like the thing is like this is a way to come out with a this is coming from International Institute of Business Analysis. This is a way to come out with a business analytics project. The first thing is analyze your current state. The thing is like you are having a problem. Say typically these days we don't use the word problem. We want to use it as challenges, issues. People don't like the word problem. Okay, so the organization has challenges or issues. Okay, and we have these challenges. The thing is like these challenges has to be well understood. That is the reason like I'm using the word problem, because problem comes like a, if you see, this is like this is a problem. Sorry. So you're able to hear me, right? So problem comes with a package. Problem comes with a package. And here what we have is root cause. We call this as root cause. And this is these are symptoms. Right? Problem comes with your package, and this problem has two parts. One is root cause, another one is symptoms. And the typical example I give is, the thing is like I'm a medical doctor sitting, and a patient walks in. And this patient is like, I'm asking, as a doctor, I'm asking him, what's your problem? And he immediately says, I'm having breathlessness, I'm having tiredness. So I asked him, what's your problem? And he said, I'm having breathlessness and tiredness. And after kind of like interacting with him, after quite some time, because doctor knows that this is not a problem. This is not a root cause, he is telling the symptoms. And after some time, like he reveals that he is working in a mine. So somebody is working in a mine, they get a disease called silicosis. Silicon particles gets into the lung, it reduces their lung capacity. So now the doctor found out this root cause. So actually, as a business analytics professional, we need to develop solutions for this root cause, right? If I am giving a good inhaler and he says tiredness, so I'm giving some steroids, probably I will kill him rather than treating him. But on the other hand, I found out what is the root cause of this problem, and I am developing a solution for the root cause. What is the solution I am giving? Like there is the prescription from the doctor. I'm first asking him like, you stop working in the mind. Like there is a kind of like nothing can filter this. Then you have to go for certain treatment which will to some extent recover your lung capacity, because we have small sachets called alveoli, and it is getting covered by this silicon powder, right? It is reducing the lung capacity. So when he goes through this treatment, maybe he lost 40% of lung capacity, 20% can be recovered. Another 20 is a permanent damage. It is a kind of like not repairable thing, right? So here, like the doctor has done the right thing. That is, he recommended a solution, okay, to address the root cause, not to the symptoms. If we are treating the symptoms, symptoms are like the only purpose. Symptoms are God's gift. Symptoms are God's gift. It is just to let you know that there is a problem, that there is a root cause. That is a function. We should never attend to the symptoms. We should never address the symptoms. We should address the root cause. When you address the root cause, the symptoms will disappear on its own. Right? The symptoms will disappear on its own. We have to kind of like develop the solutions for the root cause. Whether it is a kind of like a IT solution or business analytics thing, kind of like the first step is analyzing the current state. That is, try to understand the current state, and maybe like I should not go near. So when kind of like you need to understand the current state. That is analyzing current state. You see, this is something like a process improvement, right? This is like analyzing the current state. Then you define like where you want to be. Okay, this is like where you are. Analyzing current state says where you are, and defining future state, that is where you want to go. And between moving to these points, that is moving between these 2 points, we have some risks. That is, I may come across risks while traveling from this point A to point B, or after reaching point B, I may come across some other risks. For example, I want to move from kind of like I want to go to Delhi. Okay, Chennai to Delhi. Chennai is my current state. I need to understand, analyze, and I'm defining that I want to go to Delhi. And the thing is, like, we have 2 kinds of risks along the way. One is along the way, and the second one is after reaching Delhi. Some other risk may be awaiting for me there, right? So we need to see both the risks. Then we need to think that whether it is worth taking, whether it is worth changing from the current state, right? The thing is, like, many a time we do the changes for the sake of, like, for example, like in my second job, okay, it's a kind of like myself is a very good example. After moving to my second job, I repented like why I changed my job. This is like I don't know the risk awaiting for me in the new area. Okay, kind of like work-life balance, whatever it be. Okay, the thing is, like, some good analysis should be done before migrating from your current state to the future state. Then the last one is define change strategy. The change strategy is where we have the business analytics case. First, the thing is like whether this change is needed or not. That has to be very clear. Once that is clear, then we have to come out. And then here, like you see, here you have clearly defined the problem. And to solve this particular problem, what kind of help you need from business analytics? So business analytics is always a second one. First, we need to know what we want to do. Okay. So the thing is like, then kind of like, so the 3 steps here. Number 1, I need to do this strategy analysis for my organization. So now when we say strategy analysis is coming from, the thing is like, you see, we have vision, mission, and strategy, right? These 3 terms are kind of like equally interchangeably used or misused. When we say vision, we are talking about where the company wants to go. When we say mission, it is the operations. I kind of like, sometime back I watched a cartoon when I visited one of my relatives' house. You know, kind of like, there's like whoever has young kids at home, you know, this character called Thomas Train, right? The Thomas Train, the blue color train. It's a cartoon character like the SpongeBob or Tom and Jerry. Like our generation may know Tom and Jerry very well. Okay, but this Thomas is a recent origin. Okay, especially into Indian market. So this Thomas is like a kid asked Thomas. Thomas is an engine, train engine, and the kid asked Thomas like, Thomas, what do you do? And Thomas says, kind of like, I carry passengers from one station to the other station. So that is the mission of the organization, right? This is the mission of this train. Mission of Thomas is to carry passengers from one station to the other station, or passengers from one station to the other station. That is the mission of Thomas. And the kid goes on, and kind of like, you see, Americans do this kind of like, do some education as part of entertainment as well. So the kind of like, the kid goes on and asking Thomas, what is your aim for future? That is, it's asking the vision. And Thomas says, I would like to carry 10 million passengers by 2025. So, kind of like vision is the quantification of the mission. Vision is the quantification of the mission, and strategy is the one that helps us to reach the vision. Strategy is the plan of action to take your organization to the vision. Okay. So vision is like we set something for the future. Like we have kind of like whether it is personal or individuals or organization, we have a vision. We will not talk about vision for like tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow morning, right? Vision is like a long term. The next 3 years, where I want to take my career, that is a vision, right? So for reaching that vision, it's a kind of like we come out with a plan of action. That plan of action is called the strategy. So when we say strategy analysis, we constantly understand the current state of the organization. It's a kind of like at different levels. Organization has 3 levels. One is kind of like the entire organization level. Second, department level. Third one is process level. The thing is like strategy analysis cannot be easily carried out at organization level and department level unless you are a very small company. But it can be carried out very well at the process level. So each organization has definitive processes. Okay, that is like each organization, say like a particular organization has 100 processes. Each organization has finite number of processes. Okay, and these processes are kind of like we have to identify these processes, and in each of the process we need to develop a greater understanding. Once you develop the greater understanding in each of the process, where you want to take the process, that is the organization development. That is the developmental part we are talking about. When you improve the processes within the organization, the people and the system will be automatically demanded by improvement of the process. Okay, so with this I will conclude my session. So maybe like kind of like how much time we have so that we can have some discussions around another half an hour?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay. Okay. So like first thing, like maybe I will invite questions, and we will also kind of like come out with you can explain like need for business analytics in your organization or in your role, and we can have a discussion like how to go ahead, how to shape up this.
Any questions?
Sir, you said project managers are for the development role. But on the operating side also it's equally important, right? Deliverable is the set job, right?
It's a kind of like, you see, it's a kind of like 2 sides of organization we are seeing. Like see, your organization fully does outsourcing jobs, outsourcing projects. There, kind of like it is operations only. It is not development, because we are kind of like delivering products to somebody else.
It is that also needs project management, right?
You know, definitely operation side also. Like you see, today, like when I was having a discussion with one of the VP from the leading company, what he says today it is like 80-20. 20% are new projects, 80% are maintenance projects. So the thing is like even in maintenance we need project managers. Okay, so project managers are required everywhere. And since you asked about the question about project managers, you see like we have a lot of project managers in IT and ITES. But the other side is much greener actually. These skill sets are highly demanded in other industries like say hospitality, healthcare, okay, or even construction, okay, in other domains, supply chains, okay. The thing is like these skill sets are highly demanded in other domains as well. But we are kind of like more fascinated with the IT side only, because like you see, take the supply chain example. See today, IT is the driver for supply chain, whether it is be it Amazon or Flipkart or some other companies or any e-commerce companies. IT is the driver behind their supply chain.
They are under huge loss nowadays, right?
No, we cannot say like it depends on the company. Okay, like maybe like with Amazon and Flipkart, you are saying take somebody else like Reddington, a 35,000 crores company, kind of like this headquarters in Chennai, right? Hindi. Okay, one of our clients. And the thing is like this company is like heavily investing on the IT side. So IT is the driver for kind of like supply chain. So now the thing is like it's a kind of like as a project managers, we need to align ourselves with one of the domains. Okay, domain should be considered as a marriage. It's a kind of like we should not change this domain kind of like left and right. People kind of like jump these domains, kind of like maybe like sometimes like even it is a necessity within the organization. We need to stay in the same domain because gaining the domain knowledge is much difficult. And when we kind of like as a project manager, if I am aligning with a particular domain, the thing is like within that domain, I will be kind of like highly sought after. So it's a project management plus domain knowledge is a combination is a good thing. And exploring outside of IT and ITS is a very good thing because that is the booming side. For example, supply chain. US Department of Commerce, they does lot of they does lot of studies. Okay, they kind of like they commission for these studies, and the kind of like they came out with that in India the next 15 years going to be a huge boom in the supply chain industry, whether it is IT or infrastructure. Okay, both in infrastructure building because Indian supply chain network is not in a very good shape. Lot of investment has to happen in infrastructure. So US Department of Commerce is kind of like this is available for US companies, and they constantly advise the US companies that this is where you can better invest in these companies. Where you want to park your FDI, it's a kind of like you kind of like get into this field. So it's a kind of like some of the industries, supply chain and kind of like supply chain retail. Okay, even banking is going to undergo a tremendous change. Okay, which will demand a huge skill set. Okay, we will not find the brick and mortar banks in the future, right? Already they started, right? So it's a kind of like this is the transformation happening. So we need to align ourselves that where this is kind of like what kind of skill sets are required for the project management. And one of the thing is like better aligning with one of the sunrise industries. Okay, when I say supply chain, it is a sunrise industry. So we need to identify the sunrise industry because it will have the boom for the next 10, 15 years. Okay, and align yourself with particular industry, and that will be tremendously helpful.
Thank you. My name is Srinivasan. I would like to, it's probably a discussion around the industry. So, project managers will be replaced by artificial intelligence. What is your say on that? I don't know much about it before I put forward this kind of topic to you, but just want to hear from you. Probably it may be.
No, it's a kind of like you see, it is it's like see it will kind of like take a middle part. You see, it will take a middle part. Lot of things will be automated due to by artificial intelligence and other systems. Okay, lot of things will be automated. If driver can be replaced, okay, we see like driving is a kind of like a multiple coordinated skill set, right? We never thought that kind of like people will replace the driver, but they made it. So it's a kind of like I would say it is not a 100% replacement. It would be kind of like a middle part. The thing is like the reliance will be less and less, and even like I will give another example like already a US company is working on. See, healthcare is kind of like today like we go to doctors, and typically the doctor asks various questions and we respond to them, right? And finally he come out with this thing. So now this company is working on a robot. It is called a doctor's chair. Okay, it is like they have not yet announced publicly. They're still working on. I go and sit in this seat. There's kind of like some things will be wrapped around my hand, the head, something. Okay, it does automatically, and it measures my entire parameters, and it tells that this is what wrong going on in your body. Okay, so they say like these doctors like these chairs will be available across the country, and you can kind of like this particular chair knows who you are the moment you type your healthcare ID something. Okay, it knows like who you are, or after putting your fingerprint, it knows who you are, and kind of like it measures your vitals. And the thing is like they kind of like they say there are a lot of subjectivity, right? For example, like for a small headache, I may say kind of like it is asking a question like what's the problem you have, and I'm typing there like headache. Okay, and it is asking me like can you rate this headache, and I am saying like 10 because I don't bear the pain. That is a kind of like there is a threshold for pain, right? Each one has a different threshold for pain. And you might have seen a kind of like one comedy like where kind of like one of the comedian like Vadivel throws a axe, it comes and hits, and he will keep walking. Okay, so it's a kind of like his pain threshold is very high. For somebody like pain threshold is very low. So now the thing is like it kind of like gradually understands machine learning. It gradually understands that what is my pain threshold. If this guy is telling 10 means, it is like on my scale it is only 2. If this guy is telling me 8 means, in my scale it is 8, right? It's a different thing. So gradually this machine understands like my entire thing and it maintains my records. So the thing is like in another 5 to 10 years, we will get these doctors. The thing is like healthcare will undergo disruption. Healthcare is today, it is actually a complex thing. Kind of like it's all over the world, it is a complex thing and very high cost. And the thing is like, but will doctors be replaced? Not necessarily. The thing is like any basic things we can deal with this. The kind of like the artificial intelligence doctors, okay, AI doctors. But for a higher thing, we may go to a kind of like a specialist. So they're kind of like they need to kind of like there somebody is like saying like I'll give medicine for fever. Kind of like nobody will come to you for fever. Okay. But somebody has a serious ailment, they will kind of like come to the doctor. So even kind of like that industry is undergoing a kind of like a disruption. And in another 10 years, we will see like the kind of like artificial intelligence doctors who will take care of the basic things. Kind of like, for example, I want to do a master checkup. For the master checkup, do we really need a doctor? Okay. And very rarely, kind of like the thing is like how much time you spend with a doctor? Like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like he scans through the report. Okay, he says everything is fine. And many people kind of like even the kind of like wherever star mark is there, we see it very carefully. Star mark means there is a deviation. So this can be done by the machine itself. So the master checkup cost will be brought down drastically when we have this kind of systems. So the disruption is awaiting all the industries. Nobody is excused. The reason is that is the growth of technology. The consumer, the three drivers. The consumer preference is changing constantly. Technologies are becoming cheaper, and when more technologies come, they work together and create a different experience. And the third one is it's a kind of like the new business models are getting innovated. Earlier it was not possible. For example, even before Flipkart, we had online bookstores, but they were considered ahead of time. They were kind of like before the market matured, they came into existence, and the thing is like it was like they could not succeed because Flipkart invented cash on delivery, right? The thing is like what is the mindset? What is the bottleneck that time people had? The thing is like I don't want to spare my credit card details with you. I don't want to part with the credit card details. That is the challenge they had. And Flipkart came out with this cash on delivery. Cash on delivery is nothing new. When you go to a brick and mortar store, the mom and pop store near you, what we do? We do the cash on delivery at his premise. Now the cash on delivery shifted to my premise. That is the only difference. So they kind of like identified like what stops people to adapt to this model, and they came out with the cash on delivery. Cash on delivery sounds very simple, but the thing is like that changes the Flipkart model, right? So people come out with the different business models, and all the three things put together, it kind of like creates a havoc in the existing industry. You see, ultimately consumers are getting benefited. Okay, ultimately consumers are getting benefited. But the thing is like it's a kind of like it gives a jolt to the organization as well as the people within the organization. The skills what we are pricing until today, suddenly we say like the skills are like no longer required. Okay, it is because of the change in like even the organization. Like you see, it is to a great extent I would blame the organizations. What you are doing, you see, you are at a better position. Okay, organizations are better positioned than individuals. What you are doing so far. Okay, the thing is like you know the context I'm talking about, right? The thing is like we cannot talk this in public, but the thing is like you see what
artificial intelligence will basically replace the specialist rather than the project manager.
correct.
So they can replace a doctor, they can replace. At IBM, we have a project for about $1 billion just for the operation force.
Okay.
To be reduced.
Okay.
And what we are doing for the tickets, what is the kind of the tickets we are having? And then reduce from millions to let the billions of the tickets have been done by automatically rather than doing by the individual. And with this, we have taken out a lot of resources and put them onto the different. Same is the healthcare. Now, Watson you might have heard. Watson is one of the
Watson, IBM Watson.
Yeah. The first thing they started with the health, and now they have spread over to this.
The different industry and developing. The individuals are asking come out with a business case, and it has a thousands of applications. What you need to do, create a business case, which is going to be benefited to the respective industry. And you have the application. What you need to do is log on to the WhatsApp, make use of it, and come out with a business solution. Project manager, even the SI, Scrum Master is coming. But at IBM, in the SI, what we have done is, we will make out project manager even that is required. We have come out with a different kind of framework, even the project manager. Project managers will be required, but I don't know because they have to coordinate a lot of
The skill set we need to
See, artificial intelligence basic specialists will be definitely
Correct.
in the future.
If somebody has a kind of like very niche area, if I'm performing a very niche area, and when people when people find, it is not necessarily my company has to replace me. Somebody else sitting outside, he is trying constantly thinking that how I can replace this person in this industry. So anything like very niche area, it's a kind of like anything process driven can be replaced, right? When there is a process, you can come out with a machine, or you can come out with the algorithm, you can come out with the software. If there is a process, that can be easily replaced. So whenever there is a complex human thinking, involved, the thing is like that cannot be replaced by, because even kind of like artificial intelligence to come to the level of human thinking, I don't know when that will happen. Because like our understanding about the brain is like, you see, we know more about the world and very less about what we have here. So that is the thing. So the understanding is not very clear. So it's a kind of like artificial intelligence. The time when it will overtake kind of like human thinking, maybe like a very long time. It's a kind of like nobody knows even whether it will happen or not. So when your work is something like process driven, it is like step 1, 2, 3. If this can be done by machine also, then we have to be careful.
Actually, we are on the way there, because what is happening in organizations today, particularly in project management, is we are putting together project health dashboards. Earlier, there were very experienced project managers who looked for these indicators of development.
They do their Excel and other things.
Exactly. Now today, dashboards are put by which even if the person is replaced by a junior resource, he can look at the dashboard, find the indicators, and take the relevant action. There will come a day when the machine will take that action based on the indicators. We are there. We are near artificial intelligence, and that means
whatever we thought, it's all science fiction earlier. That's become reality.
absolutely
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
Recently, Facebook had this artificial intelligence and it created its own language, and they had to shut down for safety reasons. They were unable to understand how it created its own language and what would it evolve into.
I'm Vidya Lakshmi. Actually, I have two questions. The first one is you were talking about having business analysis knowledge over the knowledge of the tools. So my question is, when it comes to analytics, my understanding is someone should have the knowledge of the domain and the knowledge of analytics or the statistical knowledge, and then the tool or the IT is an enabler. So, since the second part of statistics you have not touched upon, but I thought it is already their part of domain or something, because you were talking about someone having analytical and reasoning ability. But in my experience, like one of analytics one-day conference, what I understood was there were a set of academicians who are too strong in all the statistical theorems and models, etc. There was other set of implementing, like industrial implementers or the practitioners, who came up with lot of case studies on how these were applied, whereas they really were not very strong in going through the real theorem or the model.
Okay.
So the ideal blend will be a person having statistics, the model, and then how to apply that, and then how to do it faster or simpler using a IT enabled tool.
Correct.
So I thought like that. My question is like in future, like as all the project managers, should we be very strong in statistical knowledge, because mathematics is something a jittery for all of us.
Correct. It's a kind of like there is a time to pick up further. Right? So like your question is correct. See, I would put this in this sequence. I would say the highest level we need to have the domain knowledge. Unless we have the domain, the thing is like business case is a kind of like the business case should be kind of like there is a business case for the problem to be solved. So when I have the domain knowledge very clearly, I know kind of like what is that problem. Okay. Then the next stage, I have to come out with the business case. For these two things, I don't need a mathematical skill set. But you yourself want to solve this problem. Okay. The thing is like we should be good in asking questions, and this can be answered by a mathematician or a kind of like somebody who is operating the business too. So this part, I think like we need not have to worry about the mathematics. The thing is like you see today like we have this positions called the data scientist, right? And the thing is like somebody mathematics in PhD, they are sought after for this position because like they don't know the domain, but they will be reporting to somebody like you who has the domain knowledge and the kind of like ability to form the business case. So these two things, without these two things, even if I have a sound mathematical knowledge or the next level I have a very good exposure to the tool, I cannot succeed, right? These two people, I would call them as a supporting framework. This first two the first two levels, that is the domain and the business case formulation ability, that is considered as a kind of like business analytics. Okay, here they are providing the support. Like there are like organizations, they use this skill set for various domains. So please.
So the second question which I had is sometimes I think the big data or the tools that are used for big data are actually not necessary, where the original RDBMS itself has all the capabilities of handling such huge volume of data. So unless, for example, the case studies which you said, I wanted to know why you wanted to go for big data, why it was not possible with the RDBMS itself. Is it the data is unstructured, or is it from external sources, multiple sources? But other than that, there is no compelling need to go for a big data.
So most of the business analytics, I totally agree with that. You see, most of the business analytics, we don't really require SAS or IBM SPSS. You can use advanced Excel. But Excel has a limitation in terms of handling the data. It doesn't kind of like store after certain lines or it hangs. Okay, so there is a limitation. So only because of that limitation, you may be thinking about other tools. But otherwise, what you may be doing, kind of like 80% of what you do in SAS, you can do it in Excel itself. Okay, so the thing is like in case of the hotel example, it is primarily because it is a unstructured data. It is coming from multiple sources. And the thing is like in case of like somebody is using Hadoop, they kind of like bring out this information kind of like in a much faster rate than what we do. And the thing is like it's the thing what we need to do is asking the right questions. We need to ask them like, I want this kind of data, this kind of relationship. You bring out and kind of like populate for me in a 2-column or 3-column table. Okay, so when we kind of like we need to tell them clearly. And we need to educate them on the domain part, like what we are trying to achieve. They need to kind of like have a better understanding about like what we are trying to achieve. Once this is done, kind of like the gelling happens between the team, and the result will be assured. Okay. So please.
My name is Anand Ahuja. It is nice to hear that so many tools have developed since I have graduated 30 years ago. these tools and computers are not existent then. But now recently, my observation is that as human beings, we still need to interact with people and have a user experience. Like you said, we're going to a hotel or doing anything. These tools for us, maybe people of our generation, are something new and we are enjoying it. But if you see the next generation, you find that they are getting used to these tools, as you said, right from childhood or whatever. And recently there was a case in the newspaper. I don't know that in detail, but what I read from the newspaper was some, I think, 10 or 15-year-old child who was only child of the parents, both parents working. He was left with such tools to an extent that he was always playing with such games, and he was not having any other social skills, and he developed some aggressive skills and did some kind of crime or something to that extent. He hurt someone or killed someone, I don't know.
That is a blue whale game, right? Blue whale. Right.
So, don't you think that there are such disadvantages also? Abuse is possible. Our generation was not used to such games and new technologies. We are enjoying it. But the new generation who is getting used to it from childhood are impacted in differently. So, we may have to have a balance of both, that the children growing up should have a social skills also, along with all these new tools. You are
correct. Absolutely correct. The thing is, you see, like the technology is like a knife, right? And how we use it, okay? It's a kind of like maybe like kind of like some until like especially when you are telling the kids, it's a kind of like until they know, kind of like we need to kind of like guard them until they feel that this is a kind of like this is the way this can be used. It should be kind of like some parental control. Okay,
But
we
then
use
as,
that.
as the case was, both the parents are working.
Okay, okay,
They are leaving him alone at home.
correct,
And the paper also stated
correct.
that they gave him these games and these
these facilities so that they didn't want him. That also was mentioned. They didn't want him to socialize with other children because they were afraid he'll pick up some other bad habits. It was given in the article.
What you tell you, just for everybody's concern. There is further news to that. It is not to blame the technology. The person who actually invented that game, he is the culprit. He had some personal abuse and he created purposely to, influence these young minds to go that aggressive to that extent so that they can, take that bold step, and he gets that satisfaction. Behind the scene, he
It's a
is the
serial.
controller.
It's like maybe a psychopath or a serial
Yes,
killer.
exactly.
Right? It's now it is technology. Coming with technology.
Questions have to be related to the topic. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yes.
Sorry to.
No, right.
So I have two questions. One is, is there any industry which is not affected by all these developments? Whatever happens, human interaction is required. For example, I say teaching. I don't think anything can replace teaching.
No, teaching is really affected.
What is the quality of the product generated without a teacher? No, what is the quality?
I tell you one thing, parenting. No, not
Byju's.
Giving birth to children will require meeting teachers.
Even then we have few overreach now.
Can a teacher understand better a student than a computer or any online
Yeah,
stuff?
it's a kind of like you see. Now what they say is like you see, this is like a larger mass what they expect. Okay, they are kind of like segmenting the market, and when you segment the market, they have some sort of homogeneous properties, and then they kind of like identify these homogeneous properties, and further homogeneous these things are developed. So it better aligns with the segment. It is not like today the thing is like we have to change our mind that if I am developing a product, it is not that whole world need to buy this product. It is not possible. It is not that everybody likes my product. No, not required. But if I am kind of like if I can be supported, if my company or my venture can be supported by say like 5% of the market, then it is fine. So we need to see like whether this 5% will be able to pay for the organization, then I'm kind of like safe.
So no
So
industry
today,
is safe from disruption?
no, kind of like everybody is subjected to disruption. That is like I took this extremes, right? Somebody who is making salt, okay, and somebody who is making mobile. This guy has less disruption today, okay, but the thing is like it's a kind of like the frequency of disruption is very less here. Maybe like the attraction is very less, okay, and here the attraction is more. Kind of like
Shipping and logistics disruption.
natural disruption.
Recently, I went to a dietitian.
Excuse me. Responsible. We will take the questions offline with you. Okay.
Okay. So thank you so much. Okay, thank you for your patient listening on Saturday.
Thank you, Mr. Venkadesh. You could see the overwhelming response in terms of the questions. So how immersive the audience has been, so that's clearly understood here. So we thank Mr. Venkadesh for enlightening us on business analytics and how it could be applied to project management. I think more than that, I think we talked quite a lot of test cases, use cases, and some practical examples, I think, which is really useful. Some of the key takeaways I've had from this session is a clear distinction between business analysis and business analytics. I think that's something that's very, it's muddled in most of our minds. So I think that's a key takeaway for me. Some of the other things with business and behavioral economics, I think that's a classic example would be Tesco in the UK. When they used analysis to actually figure out that they could improve sales of nappies, diapers, on Friday nights. There's a business case study that immediately made back in the UK. There's a wonderful case where they actually improved or augmented their sales because on Friday nights they found out that all the men who went out to get beer cases or beer crates, they were looking out for nappies to buy back, to take back home. So Tesco's actually put the beer and the nappies side by side to improve the sales. And I'm not making this up, this is not an exaggeration, this is a real case study. So that's one practical example of how business have really enormously improved based on business analysis. So thank you ever so much. Could we have one big round of applause for him, please? Okay, on behalf of PMI Chennai chapter, I would like to invite Mr. Syed, VP Marketing, to present the memento to our special guest.